good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning. I don't really know what it is. But you're here to do your yoga practice. So I'm going to talk through everything slowly. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Modifications if needed. Take breaks if needed. Those are tips. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. Pay attention to the breath. The breath is the most important part. So when you start yoga, you can either start cross-legged. I recommend laying down on your back in Shavasana, dead body pose, corpse pose. And the purpose of this posture is to be completely still. So I'm going to talk, obviously. I might dub over this depending on how it sounds and how I can get that to work, but I'll give you some tips here. While you're in Shavasana, corpse pose, dead body pose, you're not moving, you're dead. Try and just focus in on the inhale, focus equally on the exhale, pay attention to your breath. Don't lose that attention. And another important thing is when you get on the mat, I want you to forget about the day that you had, or it's first thing in the morning. Don't think about the things that you have to do or anything like that. Let that go. For like this half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour, however much time you have, it's your time. This is your absolute time where nothing else is important but yourself, because if you don't put that mask on when your airplane's going down and you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. So it's important to take this time. After you felt that you've connected to the ground in your body, you might want to start by hugging your knees into your chest. Take your hands gently. We're not hugging in, because we just want to give the low back a nice massage. And that is, however you want, you'll move around and you'll feel where you hit that spot. That feels good. So once you're done massaging your low back, take your feet, bring them down. Feet about on the edge of your mat, because here we're going to still connect more to our breath. Arms can come out on your side or into a cactus. And here you'll take a big breath in and try and breathe through your nose. Remember, nostril breathing is key. If you can remember, nostrils. Nose is for breathing, mouth is for eating and drinking. So if you're big breath in here, exhale your knees over to the right or left, it doesn't matter which side, and you're going to gaze out over your opposite shoulder. You inhale back to center, exhale to the other side. You can look over the opposite shoulder. Remember, inhale, your knees come back up, and every time you exhale, you drop them over. Really feeling that spinal stretch here. Inhale back up. Exhale, drop over. Getting a stretch in the hip flexors, especially your spine. Keep both shoulder blades on the mat. Inhale, center. So you're going to be going at your own breath. And you can do as much of this as you want or as little. I recommend doing 5 each side, but if you feel like you need 10, connecting with your breath and your body, that's perfectly fine. Once you've gotten enough, what I call just windshield wipers with breath, then here you can bring your feet up, hands up, and even pull your shoulders a little bit off the mat to engage your core here. Then just start to rotate your wrists and ankles, about 8 or 10 rotations. You go one direction. Once you get your 8 to 10
reps. You can stop and go the other way. Feel all the cracks. It's not about moving the legs. They might move a little bit, but think about just moving the joints. Then you'll get that fire burning, and that's all good.
Alright, bring everything down. From here you can get onto tabletop however you want. You can roll over onto your side, push yourself up. Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. And once you get in tabletop here, remember, shoulders line up over wrists, hips stack over knees, everything nice and square. Firmly place your palms into the mat, separate your fingers nice and evenly. And as you inhale, your belly drops, head up. Exhale, push into the mat, come in, separate those shoulder blades, chin to chest. You're like this, angry cat. Then you breathe in. Belly drops, head up, hips up. Exhale, push in, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, so you go at your own pace here. When you're breathing in, you're that happy cow. And then when you start to do your exhalation, you turn into the angry cat. Again, you can do as many of these cat-cows as you like. I recommend at least 5, but 10 is good. Again, you're just connecting the breath and the body, warming up the spine. This is probably one of the best ways to start the engagement, to get your body ready for those downward dogs. Because we're getting ready to go into downward dog. I'll give you a little bonus here. If you're feeling that you're feeling good today, you're starting out good, you can add this in before the next. Or you could just, let me rephrase that. You can go right to down dog here, where you want to separate your. I'll talk about this in a second. So you can go to down dog, or if you want to hang out, you can fire off some of these bird dogs. So you stick your left foot back, right foot forward, engage the core, square up. Don't be like this. Do your best to get like this. Breath in, exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Inhale. So when we're breathing in, we're reaching, we're pointing our toes. We're exhaling, we're bringing our elbow to knee. You can do 5 of these. Last one. That starts to get the fire going. You get the fire in the shoulder, and the arm, and the core. Boom, boom. Now, we've got left-handed people who think we're quite popular and they want to shake our hands. See, look, I just got a bead of sweat there. The left-handed people coming our way. Right foot points. Inhale. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Again, watch you're not getting all cockeyed here. Square up your hips. Get everything square as you reach. Exhale, crunch. Exhale, crunch. Last one. You reach, you point those toes, and you crunch. Boom. So that gets you all fired up. So you can curl your toes under. Push into the mat. Hips start to rise. You start to push your chest towards your thighs. Don't make the mistake of being up here. That's just not where you want to be. You want to push, push, push into the mat. Place the weight evenly distributed throughout your fingers and palms. Press even into the mat with your fingertips. It'll give you more traction. Your ears will likely line up with your biceps here. Don't hold your head up. The head is nice and relaxed. And your feet are hip widths apart. Watch you don't get the heels all cockeyed. You want to make the toes, the balls of your feet, and the heels parallel. You push into the mat and you breathe. You should be able to come into your plank seamlessly, and from your plank, you should be able to push into your downward dog. You can do 1 of these, 2 of these. Might be a bit much, but I want just to get the point across that your plank, you might be a little bit hard there. So your plank, and then you push into your dog, and give you alignment. You'll play with the alignment with your feet. Your shoulders are probably on fire, so you can just come on down Bring your knees wide, feet together. This is where we go into the child's pose. So you want to focus on bringing your forehead down. Once you get your forehead down, you can work on sitting your seat, your buttocks, to your heels. This is where you bring your buttocks to your heels. And you breathe and you rest. If you start to sit lower, your forehead will start to slide down towards your seat because you were up here. The more flexible you get, the closer you will get into your buttocks. I got shot in the buttocks. The doctor says it was $1 million wound, but I ain't seen a nickel yet. That's bad Forrest Gump. I tried. I had my head in child's pose. So this is your resting pose. If your arms are burning, you can bring them to your sides here. Remember, you might be up here. That's fine. You're tight in your hips here. You're tight in your hip flexors. You're still resting your arms. Or if you want more of a stretch in the back and shoulders, you put them out in front of you. Boom, boom, boom. Eventually, getting that buttocks to the seat. I got shot in the buttocks. Alright, come on back up when you're ready. You want to have maybe 5-10 breaths in that child's pose. However many you feel like that day. Nostril breathing. Curl toes under, push into the mat, hips rise. Downward dog. It'll come so naturally. The more you start to do it, you'll play around. You'll feel what the body needs. You can bend one leg as you straighten the other. Try and match it with your breath. So if you're like this, you might want to start to inhale here. And then when you start to bend your opposite leg, you exhale. And whenever you want, you walk your way, somehow get your way to the front of the mat. You bring your feet together. Inhale to your halfway lift. So your back is flat here. Watch the rounding. Watch that rounding here. Get the chest coming up so you're not like this. Your hands can be on your shins. The back is flat. You want to be able to rest a tray of motherfucking drinks there. Now I'm hoping my back's flat. I can't even see. So from here, I'm going to exhale all my air out through the nostrils if possible. Breathe in through the nose, reach up, look up. Palms touch. Exhale through your heart. Mountain pose. Feet are together, toes are together. Palms facing out, chest out, proud. Look, you're looking kind of upward to the heavens, to the stars, to the sun, to the whatever. But you're proud, your posture is proud, chest up. And here's where you can connect to the breath. Remember, you can mute me at any time. Once you start getting this practice, and you can just be in the silence of your breath. Now, I don't think I'm going to take any water breaks because I didn't bring any water. So, feel free to take water breaks whenever you like. Try not to drink too much, but whenever you like. So I'll probably have a sip of water if I had some. Let's do this. Sun salutation time. You've done this, you know it. Inhale, arms up, look up. Palms can touch. I like to maybe do a little bend as I open up into a swan dive here. Bend in the knees here if you got those tight hamstrings. As you come on down, exhale. You're exhaling all the air out. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands to your shins. Back is flat. Exhale, come on down. Place your hands down, step back. You're in your high motherfucking plank. Lower down, elbows touching your sides. Bring your feet together. Cobra tail. Just the fingertips so they're close to the shoulder heads here. Watch your elbows aren't flaring out. Keep them in tight here. Elbows in tight to the ribs. Feet together as that cobra tail. You flex your quads. Your knees lift. They're hanging out there. You want them lifted. And then when you inhale,
You peel the chest off using 90% of your back. Maybe you got 10% in your hands. As you push yourself as high as you can. And we lower down. Oh.
You can bring your ear to the mat, stretch out your arms. We're going to do another cobra, but we're just going to do the cobra without having our hands there so you can really understand what it's like using 100% of your back. After you've had a few breaths here, make your way back into the cobra position. Even put your hands where they should be. Feet together, flex those quads, knees lift, elbows tight. Raise the arms up. Or the palms off about an inch. Then you're going to inhale,
Peel your chest off and see how high you can get with 100% back. Now you might be just here, and like that is perfectly normal. Like most people are here. Once you start to train, you'll come up. You'll get that strength.
so when you've done that, you can drop your other ear to the mat, bring your hands to the sides. So that's where you catch your breaths of air. Come back. Push, bring your hands up, push into the mat. Make your way to table. Curl toes under. And you're in downward dog. When you get into your down dog, I recommend you can just have 5 breaths before you start to make your way to the front of the mat. I know I may have rushed that, but you can stay there for 5 breaths. Well, I probably should if I'm making a video like this. So, yeah, after you've had your 5 breaths, we make our way to the front. After that, little mishap. Bring your feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, hands up, look up, palms touch. Exhale through your heart, mountain pose, Tadasana. That's the fancy word, Tadasana. I don't even know if you can see my head, I hope so. So we're going to do that, but when we do Cobra, it's going to be one fluid motion, and we'll move to Dog, like you've done before. Inhale, arms up, look up, palms touch. Exhale, swan dive, bend if needed in the knees. Exhale all the air out. Inhale to your halfway lift, back is flat, tray of fucking drinks. Exhale, fold. Place your hands down. You step back into your plank. You're in your plank. Elbows tight as you lower down. Bring your feet together. Cobra tail. Adjust the hands. Flex the quads. Then you inhale. Peel the chest up. Exhale. Calm down. Curl toes under. Hips rise, downward dog. So here we'll just stay for our 5 breaths. Remember, when you are in downward dog, you look at your fingers. Are they spread evenly? Are you putting the weight evenly throughout your hands, pressing into your fingertips? Is your head relaxed? Are you pushing your chest to your thighs actively, stretching your quads and your ankles? Just remember that stuff. Don't just be holding it. Be breathing, be thinking. This is where you pay attention to your body. Start to walk your feet up towards your hands. Bring them together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way up. Palms touch. Boom, boom. So we'll do a few more sun sals. We'll throw in a couple things that you've done before. If you haven't done it, it's pretty straightforward and you got this. Inhale, arms up, palms touch. Exhale, bend, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step back to your plank, elbows tight, lower down. Tops of the feet come to your cobra tail, fingers move up, elbows tight. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, come down, curl toes under. Here you are, downward dog. Make some adjustments. You might need to fix your feet. They could be all wonky. Feet are parallel. You don't got your hands all cockeyed. You fix the hands, make them all good as you take those 5 breaths here in the downward dog. Okay, let's pick up our right foot. Raise it as high as you can. Really flex it as high up. Exhale, bring it through. Boom. You might get stuck here. Now, pick it up with your right hand. Step it through. This time you're going to drop your back heel down. Point the toes to 45 degrees. Try and have a heel to heel alignment. As you inhale, arms come up. Warrior 1. Now, tips on Warrior 1. Your hips here might be facing this way. I don't want that. I want you to think of them as headlights pointing to the front. So your arms are straight. The more bend you have in this front leg, the more challenging this posture will be. Remember that. So if you're a little fatigued, you might have a straighter leg. If you can go deeper, you go deeper. But watch you don't start to crack out too far. Don't have your knee. If your knee starts tracking over your ankle, you'll need to widen your thing. Widen your legs. When you're where you're at, your arms come up nice and straight, palms face one another. I recommend here, when you're in Warrior 1, you take those 5 breaths as well. And every time you're breathing in, you're engaging the posture, the breath, making little adjustments. When you've taken your 5 breaths, you just open your arm like a T. This back heel now, we'll make a little adjustment to 90 degrees. You might need to even widen your stance a bit. If you're up here, you'll start like this. This isn't what I want. You need to get your back foot at 90. Take a look down to have the heel to heel alignment. This time your hips are going to go from facing this way. Your hips are going to go facing the side now. Headlights pointing the side. Arms are out like a T, and your gaze is out forward though. Watch you're not leaning forward like this. Have the body straight, make those adjustments, think of those headlights. And there. Again, you play with depth here. The deeper you go, the wider your stance will have to be. You might find it extremely hard when you get lower because the lower you get, it stretches in here, you'll feel it in the quads. After you've taken your 5 breaths here, flip that right palm, bring that left hand to your left thigh as you reach up, look up. Big stretch here. Another important tip when you're in this posture and this legs forward, watch it doesn't start to cave in. Make adjustments. You don't have the knee caving in. Again here, you'll take your 5 breaths. Feeling, really breathing into this side rib cage. And you'll start to understand that more the more you start paying attention to your breath. You can come back to Warrior 2. Again, watch though when you're in Warrior 2, a good way to check on that knee is to just make sure you can still see your big toe. If you can't see your big toe, your knee's caved in too much. From here, that leg's probably on fire. Flip that left palm, swing down, step your right foot back to meet your left. You're in your high plank. Elbows tight, lower down, feet together, cobra tail, just the hands. Keep your elbows tight, flex those quads, inhale the chest off. Exhale, come down, push into the mat, knees come under, curl toes under, downward dog. Make your adjustments, get those feet parallel about hip width apart. Again, fingers are pushing into the mat. Palms, everything is working synergistically. You're not holding your neck up, it's resting here. You might even want to gaze at your belly button. Come up onto your feet, walk your way to the front of the mat. Bring your feet together. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way out, look up, hands touch. Exhale.
Ba-doom.
Remember, at any time when you're doing this routine, if you need to just hop into a little child's pose, have a sip of water, just hit the pause button. I'll be right here when you come back. We're going to do this other side, and then we're going to come down to the mat, cool down, finish up. Home stretch, amigos and amigas. Inhale, arms up, palms touch. Exhale, swan dive, bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold, hands come down, step back. You're in your high plank. Exhale, lower down, feet together. Cobra tail, flex the quads, adjust the hands, elbows tight. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, come down, push into the mat, curl toes under. Make your way to your downward facing dog. So you take those 5 breaths, make those adjustments. Remember, your hands, your fingers are spread evenly. Feet are nice and evenly parallel. Again, you can play, you can swing side to side here. Feel what it's like if you kind of bend your legs and stretch that one side. Same with the other. You've taken your 5 breaths. I think that is it. We'll walk our way. Oh no, never mind. We got to pick up our left foot. Sorry, left foot lifts up as high as you can. Oh, exhale, knee to nose, and you step it through. Now you'll get stuck here. You pick up with your left hand, bring it to the front, drop your back heel down, 45 degrees. Heel to heel alignment, toes pointing to that corner now. And you inhale up, arms up, warrior 1. Again, if your hips are pointing this way now, point them this way. Arms are straight. Here's where you have your 5 breaths. You can play with your depth here too. But remember, if you start off really, really deep, you got to hang out that deep for the whole series here, so you might not want to do that. After your 5 breaths here, I think we've made it. Open up. Back foot now comes to 90. Maybe lengthen your stride. Heels to heel is still in a nice, perfectly straight line. Hips now moving to the side. If you're in that already and you got your arms straight, your gaze is out fiercely over your front middle finger. Like a fierce warrior 2. You take a glance down, you can still see your big toe. Watching out like this. We take our 5 breaths. Flip that left palm. Bring your right hand to your back of your thigh. Reach up. As you reach back, you keep that same bend. Don't try and back off here. You try and keep that depth. I mean, if you're on fire and you got it, you do it. Do your best. Breathe into the left side ribs here. Looking up at the eye of the elbow. And we come back to warrior 2. Bring your right palm now to meet your left. Step your right foot back now to meet your left. You're in your plank. You lower down slowly. Bring your feet together. Bring them up. Adjust the hands, elbows tight, flex the quads. Inhale the chest up. And exhale, come on down, curl toes under, push into the mat. Make your way to your downward dog. Your last downward dog of the day. Remember, don't get sloppy at the end here. Make those adjustments with the hands, the feet, pushing your chest to your thighs. This is your last one. You've only got a couple breaths left. Make it count. All right, come on down to your knees. Bring them wide. Bring your feet together. Making our way to child's pose. Forehead comes down. You can have your arms out front or at your sides. But if you're up really high, I don't recommend just sitting like this. If you are like that, maybe just bring your hands out in front of you, take a little pressure off your head. But if you're back further, it'll be less pressure on your head, and you can have your arms out front. Or at your sides. Now you're just going to come back, slowing the breath down. I feel like hands out front. So from our child's pose, after you've had your moments of relaxation, we'll roll over onto our back. We'll finish up with a few more moves. Some more opening. This is more of a awakening practice. I recommend doing it more in the daytime. I'll figure out a slower one for nighttime and do that one at a later date. But this is more of a get my day started on the right foot type of practice. So, on your back here, bring your feet in, maybe scrape your heels with your fingertips. Hands down on your side here for support. You're just going to inhale, thrust the pelvis up, squeeze those butt cheeks. Exhale, lower down all the way. Right before your butt touches the ground, you start to inhale back up. Inhale up. Exhale, come on down. And again, as soon as you feel that touch before you rest, you inhale. So there's no rest here. As soon as your butt just taps the ground, that's when you start to breathe in again. So when you're exhaling, lowering down. Inhale up. So you can do 5 of these, 10 of these, whatever you feel like. Again, we're just syncing our breath with our movements, getting a little more bend here or stretch, getting the glutes on fire. So after you've done enough, you're at your 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th, I want you to, wherever you are, hold that last one. So you're going to hold this last one to the best of your ability. And if you can, bring your hands underneath together and then maybe even start to squinch those shoulder blades together. So you're going to just roll on one side as you bring that other shoulder blade in, if that is possible. Again, watch your knees aren't spraying out. Everything's going to be parallel, even, and you're flexing. You're doing your best here in this nice back bend bridge. Release that grip. Slowly lower down. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Maybe even just grab yourself, hug yourself, love yourself. And be careful of the spine as you come on down. Bring your left foot down. Pick up your right. Outside right ankle on top of left thigh. Right hand between the legs. You're going to grab underneath the thigh, above the left knee here. What you're trying to do now is you're trying to bring this knee, this left knee inward. So you're going to create a huge stretch on the right side of your buttocks. So you can grab on the shin here if you're really open, but this works just as good. Maybe push in with your right elbow, making that right knee even open up even more. Little micro movements in this posture. Remember to keep your shoulders on the mat and your hips on the mat, feeling this uncomfortableness, and you're breathing, and it feels like you just got shot in the buttocks. Doctor said it was $1 million wound, but I ain't seen a nickel yet.
think that one was a bit better.
After you've done your 5-10 breaths, there's really no limit to this. You're just going to be uncomfortable, and you'll probably eventually be like, I've had enough of this. But I want you to do a minimum of 5. From there, you can release that grip, bring the left foot down onto the mat, keep everything right where it is up here, bring your arms out to a T or cactus, and then just drop over to the left. You bring your, whoops, that walks in my way. I'll bring your sole of your right foot on the outside of your mat for a nice twist here as you're looking out over your right shoulder, both shoulders on the mat, and you're just breathing. Bringing down, everything coming down, slowing down. Okay, slowly engage the core as you lift yourself back up here. Took your right foot comes down, left foot lifts, outside left ankle on top of right thigh, left hand between the legs now as you grab on your thigh above your knee. Remember the goal here is to keep the shoulders and the hips down, and you're pushing this right knee now inward, trying to bring that right knee, feeling a huge stretch on your left side now. Again, micro movements here. Think about maybe when you're breathing in, when you're inhaling, you're pushing out with this left elbow now on this left knee. And then when you're exhaling, maybe you're squeezing in with your arms, pulling that right knee in a little bit more on each exhalation. Inhale, pushing out with the left elbow and the left knee. Exhaling, maybe pushing that right knee in a little bit more, a couple of centimeters or millimeters. So again, at least 5 breaths here. I recommend closer to 10. You gotta do what you gotta do. Unhook your hands. Bring your right foot down, keep everything where it is, arms out like a T or a cactus, and then you're just going to drop over to the right. Bring the sole of the left foot down. Gaze out over your left shoulder here. Remember, both shoulders are on the mat. Here's one of those moments where we slow down the breath, starting to bring our parasympathetic nerve back online, which is our relaxation. We had our sympathetic nerve, our fight or flight going earlier a bit when we were getting the heart rate up and the uncomfortableness, and now we're, coming back to relax. I almost cut my finger off in the fan. Well, thankfully it's safe. Okay, so engage your core as you come back to center. Bring both feet up. You're like a little happy baby here. You're going to bring your arms, take your arms inside your thighs, inside your calves, and then you're going to reach for the outsides of your feet. If you cannot reach the outside part of your feet, I want you to grab the outside part of your ankles. Do your best. You're in this little happy baby position. You can rock side to side. Trying to get your knees down onto the ground. One day you'll be so open, you'll be just like a little happy baby. All right. You can stay here for at least 5 breaths or more. I'm actually just here to produce or to give you guidelines of what you feel like doing. If there's any postures you feel like staying in longer, just pause the video. And if any time you need to just relax for a bit, you go into a child's pose and chill out. Because we're going to release our feet, bring everything down, preparing for our final posture, the one that we started in, the one that we end in, Shavasana, corpse pose, dead body pose. So, get all the fidgeting out now, because I want you to go right into your Shavasana. I'm going to end this video, but I'm going to end it with just some tips as you get ready for your at least 3 minutes of stillness where you're not going to move. You're just going to let the yoga, this is where the practice, if you just get up and leave after yoga, you're going to miss out on a ton of magic. This stillness, this part here is where all that energy we moved in our bodies and activated, it's all going to go to the places where we need it to go. So you're in stillness for at least 3 minutes. Pay attention to your breath. Don't think about what you're going to do after. You still got this time where it's your time. And remember, when you start to come out of your Shavasana, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. It'll bring small movements back to your body. There's no rush when you come out. So I'm going to end this with some silence. I'm going to say thank you for kicking ass and being you. And showing up and doing this practice, you will notice a huge improvement in your energy, your flexibility, your strength, and everything. Much love. Namaste. Shavasana time. Last tip, your eyes are closed. Keep your eyes closed in Shavasana. Namaste.